We were talking about Dan Sullivan last week, and I've done a podcast, basically deep dive rabbit hole thing with not just him, but I'm starting to realize some of the value in these podcasts. If Alex Hormozy shows up on someone's podcast, then you look to see who that guy's connected to, see what other podcast guests he has. Who is this person that he had on a couple episodes before, like Alex Hormozy? Because none of the dogs show up unless there's somebody before them that shows up that kind of validates it usually.
Mhm.
So I see Hormozy, I go back a few and say, "Hey, who is this? Who is this Hala person? Young and profiting. Okay, whatever." I look her up, and she's got like this podcast hat game on lock. She used to work for Hot 97. She's not famous, but she's just like putting it out there. And I'm like, huh. I go through her interviews. I find out that she's running David Shan's podcast business.
Didn't know that.
And I was just like, because he had his own thing going, and she came in and was like, "Hey, I can run this for you." So they partnered up, and now his podcast is hitting more people, doing more reach, sounding a little bit more official. I don't know if I like it sounding more official,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, it's a whole thing. So yeah, going through podcasts and finding out the stuff they talk about in podcast is golden, man. I'm like finding out these people are just dropping nuggets all the time. It's fascinating that I don't know how many people are seeing the power of this thing where you're just finding like these conversations that you wouldn't have heard anywhere else.
And I think that's the beautiful nature of like long form content now, right? It's like there's no middle anymore, just like movies. You either have TikTok short version or you got these long 3-hour podcasts, right? You can deep dive in. And we know about this is too. It's hard to have deep conversations and not spill secrets because that's what you know. You
Yeah.
can't just be making stuff up on the fly. You thought about this while you sitting in the car. You're like, man, I gotta get this off my chest. So you write it down, and or so intimately it becomes part of you. So to your point, yeah, podcasts are always dropping game, and I love to listen to those and see what nuggets can pop up out of it. Yeah, there's a lot of value out there, man. People just have to go find it, and then you spend more time looking for good content instead of I could be guilty of this with the I'm just tired. I just want to watch some entertainment and just, shut my brain off. But
Yeah.
I really push myself to listen to podcasts and get some nuggets. It's like you fishing. And like I listened to, we'll talk about it in a second, but I think I pointed you, I listened to one of Frank Kern's webinars. I said, I know he's selling what he's trying to sell, but this is some good shit. I might
Yeah.
go ahead and, in fact, I had signed up so I get the replay so I could just listen to that again and make sure I captured all he was saying. I said, okay, I think I could implement that. So yeah, so there's nuggets everywhere. I agree.